DA44 in PVD black. Let's talk about some of the details here before we get into the impression. So again, the brand Damasko out of Germany, akin to Sin and some of the other tool focused functional brands from Germany. This model is a DA44BK, and this example was released in 2016 in limited numbers. MSRP in Canadian dollars was $1,799 plus or minus, but being Damasko, similar to Zin, they're not particularly easy to come by any stretch, so you'd expect to have to pay duties on top of taxes with that, of course, regardless of where you're importing it, unless you happen to have a Damasko dealer nearby. Dimensions, you have a 40 mil case size. With the bezel, they say it's 41.3 mils with the bezel teeth. I checked it with my caliper, it's approximately again 41.3 mils. Overall height 12.40 mils, so just about 12.5 mils. Again, check that, and that's definitely right. Lug to lug, they say is 48 mils, although Damasko doesn't necessarily have the DA44 on its website per se. From my caliper, I got a 47.7 actual mils lug to lug. Otherwise, lug width for this is 20 mils. All right, so now that the cat knocked everything over and I've reset up, again, we're talking lug width 20 mils. So again, it's all reasonable proportions and reasonably thick. As you can see here, this is a 4-year-old example, and you probably can't even barely tell on the video, but there's very minimal wear, a little scratch here or there. Even the bezel teeth are in phenomenal condition. Damasko has done a phenomenal job of ion plating or ion PVD coating this case in the bezel, and again, for a 4-year-old watch, this is in phenomenal condition. So you can see here comes with a OEM Damasko strap, Italian black leather with red stitching. Right, so I had to look up a couple things because there's a few abbreviations that I've taken for granted in life. So Damasko, lots of unique features, right? It's a German tool brand, so let's talk about some of the laundry list features that the DA44 comes with. So that PVD coating, which as far as I can tell is an ion plated coating, right, is a Damast trademark, coated ice-hardened to 60 HRC or hardness Rockwell C, or hardened to 710 HV. Basically, it's much more than your run-of-the-mill PVD coating, and as you can tell here, whether or not this is just anecdotal, but the previous owner did either a great job of taking care of it, or the coating that you find on it did its job, because again, this is in immaculate condition, given the type of watch it is and that it is 4 years old. So magnetic field protection up to 80,000 ampere meter. It has a soft iron casing right inside, so it's completely anti-magnetic, rather than having your more high-end silicon this and anti-magnetic parts and whatnot. In this case, they've gone with the traditional method of using a Faraday style cage. More typical Sapphire glass. Has a bilateral anti-glare coating, and unilateral anti-glare was available, but in this example, I presume it has the stock bilateral anti-glare coating. It has a glass gasket, UV resistant. I'm going to go ahead and say that the crystal itself has been sealed in place, and whatever rubber or whatever gasket system they use for it is UV resistant, so it's not going to dry out and harden over time. So the bottom is screwed with a full thread. It has a Viton trademark O-ring gasket, keeping it in place. In this example, it is only 100 meter water resistant, or much more importantly, 10 atmospheres. But they've done, as you'll see, everything that they can to guarantee that it is not only 10 atmospheres water resistant, but also fully sealed up for functional use. You have a screw down crown that is surprisingly smooth and is a nice spring to it. Crown guards, of course, being a tool watch, the crown is hardened with mechanics and apparently almost is indestructible for what that's worth. The crown tube itself is screwed to the casing using what they call System Damasko, probably trademarked. Again, making it so that all in all, this case is very well sealed up. The bezel itself, also hardened. It's bidirectional, that we'll see here. So, get my hands in here. All right, so bidirectional bezel. And we'll talk about that shortly. I'm gonna undo this crown here too for you. And you can see right here, it has a nice little spring to it, but also screws down and unscrews very smoothly. Again, bidirectional rotating bezel. It's very exact. It's designed to be very exact. It has a ceramic bedded minute detent and special mechanics patented versus trademarked here that enable it to be very precise. And you can see there's no movement here, right? It's very exact. When I compare this to my previous Zin 104, the Zin 104 is very good with its bidirectional bezel. This is completely at a different level, very functional. The bezel insert itself is hardened, PVD coated, and scratch proof. However, if we zoom in right here, you can see at the 15 or at the 3 o'clock, right here, there's a little scratch, the tiniest of scratches. You can also see up here on one of these bezel teeth, whatever you want to call them, there's also a little scratch. But again, 4-year-old watch, this is phenomenal. So getting through this laundry list, waterproof, quote unquote, although that may just be a translation difference, because we all know for liability reasons these things aren't waterproof, they're water resistant, right? Dial, matte black, hour indices, white luminous compound, and a red luminous compound at the 12. And to be real, that right there, these little guys, they're C1 lume. Okay, so nothing particularly fancy, and the red at the 12 is a variation of that. The strap is in great condition. Being 4 years old, it's held up really well. Let's take a look at this actually here. I'll get it off of the strap. I've never seen this before, but what they've done is heavily padded. It's reinforced here by folding the leather over, but then it also has almost a, how would I describe this? Almost like a bund system. And you can see here, when it goes around the wrist, it actually covers the clasp itself. And everything's redundantly stitched. It's well padded, really uniquely done. If we look at the back here, let's take a look at the side actually while we're at it. You can see it's immaculate condition, especially given the age. When we look at the case back here, very utilitarian. You can feel the weight, and it's very heavy. Those 20 mil lugs. other side. Lugs are super narrow, not like classically narrow, of course, but narrow enough. They don't look out of place, which is nice. Partially probably because of the PVD. It all kind of blends together with the black strap. So what else can I tell you? Inside you have a ADA 2836-2. There's a few reviews, written reviews out, and I'll put them in the link. There's some good written ones. There's nothing really video-wise. When I was looking into this and considering acquiring it, I didn't find really much to go off of. So I was shooting a little blind, and again, Damasko's website is so-so. So what else can I tell you about it? Again, there's some really good reviews out there. You can read those. The point here is to basically show it to you and give you a reference to start if you're considering purchasing one of these. Again, it's a very functional utilitarian watch, and I think in that regard, it succeeds again dramatically, especially based on just the condition of it at this point. It is phenomenal. So for the amount of features that you get here, especially the anti-magnetic features, right, as well as the hardened case and everything else, right, it's not going to give you any issues, and it's not meant to be a diver either, right? It's trying to be a really functional, practical, everyday watch. I think it really succeeds there. You can see as soon as you touch it, that anti-reflective coating there just catches everything and reflects everything. Super, super handy. Anyways, detractions to this, it's very utilitarian, right? And if you don't care for that matte black dial, and again, the very simple functional look, you are looking for something more sunburst, something more, I'm not going to say exotic, but something more visually appealing, this might not be it, right? It is nice with the red, right? Red, white, black, really does work. And from other Damaskos I've seen, this is definitely a lot of color. So if you're okay with the matte black dial, this could definitely work for you, and this is definitely going to eat up a lot of straps because you have that red and white in there. Otherwise, I can't really say too much more on it. It wears really well, and here, let me just put it on the wrist for you. Boom, on the wrist, 7.25 inch wrist, and you can see it fits perfectly, quite comfortable again with that pseudo bund style system that they've done here, and you can see how that wears on the bottom side. It's just amazing, the condition of this. It's phenomenal compared to other PVD coated watches I've had in the past. This is just spectacular. So hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, there you go, better color. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I couldn't find really much that wasn't just only in writing on the Damasko DA44, and Damasko's not particularly helpful in the matter either. So if this helps you, then great. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to bringing you more watches in the future. Let's see what this looks like in the dark. Have a great day, and see you soon.